Metallica are sick, but the Black Album is my least favourite of their discography. Other than that, they get unnecessary hate, particularly from younger people and Megadeth stans. Deftones are mid as fuck. Well, I prefer Slipknot to Korn. Korn have a better discography. Despite the shit that kicked off last year, Hate by Thy as Murder is a banging album. Motley Crue get praised for stuff that other bands get cancelled for. This is going to be fun. Hello, we're back with a two-part video. That's right, I'm going to be making two of these. It's going to be a good one. So I asked you all on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram for your unpopular metal music opinions, and today I'm going to react to a bunch of them, so let's get right into it. Slayer are overrated and boring as fuck. All of their music sounds the same. I still recognise that they're talented, however. So yeah, I'm not a Slayer fan in the slightest. I can definitely agree with this one. I don't really know if they're overrated or not because I don't really see many people actually talking about them. I guess they're quite massive in the metal community, but they're not my thing. They never have been my thing. Didn't care when they broke up. Didn't care when they came back. I know the absolute bare minimum by this band, and I just don't care about them in the slightest. So yeah, this one's valid. Jordan leaving Bring Me the Horizon is only going to make their music good again. Okay. So most of you already know my thoughts on the whole Jordan leaving Bring Me thing. I really did love the guy. I love what he's done for the band over the last 10 years. But as we've seen on the massive UK tour that they just did, they're still absolutely incredible. They're smashing it. They're better than ever. Honestly, I hate to say it, but for the most part, it didn't really feel like that much of a loss without Jordan. I guess looking down at the stage from where I was, it was weird to see one area that usually would have had Jordan on his keyboard. It kind of looked weird to have him not there in that little area, filling it and doing his thing. But for the sound, for the actual set, I didn't miss him. And I think that's probably the same for most people that attended this tour. Now, I don't think they'll actually be better without him because my favourite era of Bring Me is his early years in the band. You know, Sempiternal, that's the spirit, and that's never going to change. I know it for a fact that they won't be able to beat that for me. It has too much meaning. So no, I don't think the band is going to be better without Jordan. I think they're going to continue to be as amazing as they've ever been, just not better, if that makes sense. Paramore's latest album is shit. So I'm mixed on this one. You know, for me, I think I don't like about half of the album, but then I really like the other half of the album. Songs like Figure Eight, Crave, Big Man, Little Dignity, I really like these songs. They did something different for me, and I actually really like this. I love Hayley's voice on this. I just love that it has got that Paramore sound in there. I actually do come back to this album and listen to quite a few songs on it still, so yeah, it's not shit. It's certainly different. It's certainly nothing compared to what they used to do, but not a lot is. It's an alright album. Iron Maiden sucks. Can't believe you just went there on this channel, mate. There's going to be people coming after you now. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Iron Maiden. I saw them at Download 2022, and honestly, it was one of the most boring sets I've ever seen. Couldn't even make it through to the end. We were quite far down at the main stage, quite close to the front, and just bored out of our minds. That might be because I don't really know that many songs by them, but to me, it was like watching this really long theatre performance of this guy just wailing and singing, but it just went on for ages. The guitars went on for way too long, and a lot of people love that, but it's just not my thing. I can appreciate their most known singles, but other than that, it doesn't go any further for me. So yeah, for the most part, Iron Maiden sucks. I've never seen the hype in My Chemical Romance. They are boring to me. You know what? For that, I'm moving out and I'm taking all the cats with me. Now, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, even if they do live in the same house as you and have to constantly listen to what you play and stuff. So I like My Chemical Romance. I've liked them for a good few years now. They've never been this massive thing to me like they are to a lot of elder emos in the past, but yeah, they're alright. I certainly don't think they're boring, and I'd love to see them live eventually. I'm really hoping that we get them at Download in the future as well, as a headliner obviously. They're still a massive band. Black Parade is still an amazing album. They've never been the massive thing to me that people make them out to be, so it's probably because I didn't really grow up on them like a lot of people, but yeah, they're a good band. They're certainly not boring. O2s are some of the worst venues around. The sound design is usually awful, in capital letters. I guess you mean like O2 Academies, O2 Arenas, that's what that means, right? Yeah, I've not been to every concert venue in the UK that's an O2, but I've been to a good few of them. Like, I've been to O2 Academies, I've been to the O2 Arena in London, and I have to disagree with this one. I've never, for the most part, had a problem with the sound. I think it's been a good sound experience for me at most concerts. Obviously, just saw Bring Me and Bad Omens at the O2 Arena. That was absolutely incredible. The sound was fine from where I was. I was quite up high on a seat, so the sounds just kind of, you know, echoed around the whole room. It was beautiful. In the past, I've seen lots of other bands at smaller venues that are O2 Academies. Yeah, just never had a real issue. I've never thought, oh, the sound's quite bad for this one. I don't think, unless it's a band that has their instruments way too loud over their voices, which I've had experiences with. Any venue cannot be perfect for a band that's kind of heavy, that's got their instruments a bit too loud over the singing, which, yeah, that can be a thing. But this person probably knows what they're talking about a lot more than me with sound and technical stuff. But from my personal experience, no, I've not had a bad experience with sound like this. I don't get the hype for Sleep Token. So I did get quite a few Sleep Token ones, so bear with me while I repeat myself a lot of times for this one. So I've still not been able to get onto the Sleep Token hype. I still don't get it. Like, this band to me just came out of absolute nowhere. Suddenly, everyone that I knew, all my friends across the UK were obsessed with them, and I was like, what is this? Every time I listen to them, I'm just like, what am I not hearing that you're all hearing? For the most part, I know that there's heavy parts, I know that there's faster parts, but for the most part, apart from songs like The Summoning and very known songs, there's just a lot of it. It's just long, it's slow, it's not what I'd expect people to be blowing up about. Take Me Back to Eden is an enormous album, most successful metal album of 2023. I do find it interesting how some people hear music and some people hear music a different way. Like, this band is suddenly absolutely enormous and they came out of nowhere. I don't get the Sleep Token hype, so yeah, I agree. Queen are shit and so overrated. Alright. So I'm definitely guilty of becoming a massive Queen fan back in 2018 when the movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out. That is one of my favourite movies I've ever seen. I absolutely love the portrayal of Freddie Mercury. It got me really obsessed with Freddie and this band and his history and just learning everything about him that I didn't already know. Like, I didn't know a lot about Queen before this movie, to be honest. I'd never really taken the time to educate myself on everything about it, and just learning about him and what he went through and the band and everything that they did. It was so interesting to me. It was a great time. My whole family, in fact, we were all obsessed with this movie. We saw it multiple times in the cinema. It really did make me a Queen fan, and I never really bothered with them before that. I knew some of the biggest singles, obviously, but that's as far as it went. But yeah, I do think this band are amazing and one of the best rock bands in history. And Freddie Mercury is still one of the greatest vocalists of all time, and that's never going to change. Whatever you think of them, you can't deny this band were iconic and really important to how music is today. Slipknot haven't made a solid album in multiple years. Here we go, controversial one. So straight up, I don't agree with this because I do like select songs from the last couple of albums. I'm assuming you're talking about like Grey Chapter, going backwards, they were the best albums, which they were. Yeah, completely agree with that if that's what you're saying. We Are Not Your Kind, the end so far, certainly lacking something that the other albums had. Something is missing, something is different. I really don't mind because I've never been the biggest Slipknot fan ever. They've never been my specialty. I don't know that much about the band's history or anything. I'm really not that educated on this band, to be honest. I've only recently really gotten to start to like them in these last couple of years of my adult life. So, you know, I didn't grow up on this band. Going back and listening to their older stuff, yeah, I can see why fans don't like their newer stuff as much. They certainly did something amazing with those first few albums that changed the whole generation and introduced a lot of people to nu metal. Metallica are sick, but the Black Album is my least favourite of their discography. Other than that, they get unnecessary hate, particularly from younger people and Megadeth stans. Deftones are mid as fuck. While I prefer Slipknot to Korn have the better discography. Despite the shit that kicked off last year, Hate by Thy Is Murder is a banging album, and Motley Crue get praised for stuff that other bands get cancelled for. Right, I'm going to have to go through these one by one, aren't I? Because that's quite a lot. Metallica, for me, I think the Black Album is the best album. Again, never been a massive Metallica fan, but I did grow up on them. I do know their most known songs. But yeah, the Black Album is the best one for me. I'm sorry. Deftones, yeah, they are mid as fuck for the most part. I only know their very, very most known songs, which are great songs. But other than that, I've never taken a dive deeper into their music. So yeah, mid as fuck for the most part, I guess. Slipknot to Korn, but Korn have the better discography. So for me, I like about the same amount of songs by both bands, I'm not going to lie. I like them both about the same right now. I know nothing about Thy Is Murder really, apart from that they had some controversial shit last year, so can't comment on this one. And Motley Crue, yeah, they definitely have been praised for stuff that other bands get cancelled for over the years. I don't know if you're talking about what they did in the 80s or what they're doing now. So, obviously they did a lot of shit back in the 80s that bands would 100% be cancelled for now. There were assaults, probably a lot of sexual things, a lot of hotel trashing, a lot of destroying equipment, walking off stages. You name it, they've probably done it. Hearing what they did, watching the Dirt movie, it is surprising that they're not all dead or in jail like they say. I know that Tommy posted a picture of his last year on Instagram. It was inappropriate, but it was funny, and it certainly got a lot of attention. I don't really know much of what the other band members have been up to, but yeah, I'm sure that they've done a lot of stuff that other bands would certainly get cancelled for, so I can agree with this one. Busted are cool. Yeah, Busted are cool. Year 3000 has always been a sick disco track, you know, school disco, great song, great memories, great times with that one song. Other than that, this band have never done anything for me. I love Sleep Token, but the fans are the metal version of Swifties. By Swifties, we're meaning Taylor Swift fans, right? obsessive, crazy fans that stalk, fans that find every single detail about you online with their little computers. Obviously, with what recently happened with Sleep Token, a fan found out all of their names, their addresses, basically everything, and there was rumours going around online that they deleted all their stuff online for this, but now obviously they've come back with a tour. And fans were really worried that this was the end of Sleep Token or they were going to reveal their faces or something, but instead it seemed like it was just promo for a new tour, and obviously we got that tour announcement. I think we're going to be getting new music pretty soon as well by the sounds of it, so it was all just promo for that. If this band ever do choose to reveal their identities, it should be on their own terms. Shouldn't because a bunch of psycho fans have stalked them. Just leave band members alone, they don't owe you anything, and Sleep Token especially don't owe you anything. If they want to keep their identity as a secret, if they want to keep this whole illusion thing going, that should be their choice. MGK is an excellent songwriter and both pop punk albums are fantastic. You know, I'm going to have to agree with this one. I really did get into MGK over lockdown. He was probably the main artist that I was listening to during COVID, lockdown 2020 time. I know that he's another really controversial guy. I know that you either love him or you hate him. A lot of people hate him. I guess I'm sort of separating the music from the artists. I know that a lot of people don't agree with that, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear that, but I've been a fan of this guy for the last few years. Yeah, his new song that he just released as well is a really deep, struggles with mental health, all sorts of breakdowns and stuff like that, and I can relate to some of that stuff, you know. His pop punk career, I'm not sure if that's over now, but what he did with Travis as well, I really enjoy it. Cartel! Exclamation point. I literally have never met another person who likes or talks about them, and I'm afraid you're not going to find one today because I have no idea who the hell that is. Bands like Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue need to do one last tour and retire. Harsh. I mean, Motley Crue already did this once, now they're back again, and getting sort of mixed reviews on how they sound live. I've still not had the chance to see them live. I would love to. I want to see them live at least once in their career. You know, I want to see Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee and Vince Neil in the flesh, and Motley Crue have got some great songs as well, so. And as for Guns N' Roses, I've never been an enormous fan of them, but I have grown to appreciate them a bit more. I did see them at Download 2018, and I saw them at Hyde Park last year. I have a really high appreciation for songs like November Rain, Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, Night Train. Basically, I'm just the generic one who likes all of their most known songs. It wouldn't really upset me if they were to retire now because, you know, I've had that chance, I've seen them. But no, I don't think this band are ready to retire yet. I think we're going to get a bunch more new music from this band, and I think we're going to get a few more tours before they hang it up. It's going to happen, but not just yet. Oh yeah, and by the way, dude, cheers for actually suggesting this video idea to me. This guy is actually the reason that I'm making this video right now. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. I'm really enjoying doing this one. I find the majority of Bad Omens songs boring. They have a few bangers though, of course. So obviously, I strongly disagree with this one. I think Bad Omens is one of the best things ever to come out of the last few years. One of the best bands to come out of sort of the metal genre. They've done something new. They've done something special with this, and they've sort of changed music and what music expectations are, I think, for a lot of fans. On the Death of Peace of Mind, they've certainly got a bunch of slower songs, which I can see why you might think some of those are boring. But for the most part, they've just been releasing straight up bangers that are certainly anything but boring. If anyone does think they're boring or doesn't really know much of them, I would 100% suggest checking them out when they headline the second stage at Download this year. It's gonna be massive. They blew me away in London. I wasn't even anywhere near them and they blew me away, and I really can't wait to see them again this year, honestly. Ed Sheeran would be suited so well to heavier tunes than what he puts out. His vocals on the Bring Me the Horizon collab are so good. So I have to disagree with this one. Never been a fan of Ed Sheeran. I don't think he is suited to heavier music. I think that the collab that he did for Bad Habits with Bring Me the Horizon was amazing. It was a really, really good collaboration. It was certainly one that none of us expected as well, and it really did work well. Really good collaboration, but that's where it stays for me. It was a one-time thing. Ed Sheeran is not suited to heavier music. If you've heard anything else by him, you know, he's doing what he likes, which is not my thing at all. I respect the guy for who he is, but he is not my kind of thing, and he does not need to be anywhere near the metal genre. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it there before this one gets way too long. I did actually get a lot of these, so like I said earlier, this is going to be a two-part video. Thanks to everyone who sent me an unpopular opinion. I think I'll definitely do more of these in future. If you're brand new here, please feel free to subscribe. I make a lot of, you know, music festival concert content on this channel if you've never seen it before. It mostly revolves around Download Festival, but I do other things on this channel as well. It's all concerts, all music, it's all festival stuff. If you're into any of that, please consider clicking subscribe. Hit the like button and I'll see you next time for part 2.